Are you going to charge people to come to your wedding?
Yeah, I'll actually charge enough to make a profit.
See, you're the one. You're the one that I'm... $500 a person.
Yeah, $200 a person.
And you're going to have like Taco Bell boxes for everyone.
Taco Bell, I'm going to charge everyone $500.
You know what? I might do it.
50 episodes, guys. We made it to 50 episodes. Whoa. Un-freaking believable. And the one thing I forgot to do was turn on that freaking light.
We look so dark.
Well, at least it's daylight.
You know what? This is what it looks like
I can't even see you guys. I just hear voices.
It's just silhouettes.
You know, it's funny because I spent the last half hour struggling. We've been having so many technical difficulties, getting this podcast up and running.
It's funny how it's sitting there just not even on.
Yeah, it's just we literally
plugged in.
These guys have been watching.
Decoration now.
Everybody's been watching me struggle put together this podcast, and I don't know what it is. Apparently, we had to work for number 50. It made me sweat. I've been sweating profusely this entire time.
The fates are against us on this one.
The podcast gods have decided to work.
Yeah, I will turn that light on in a minute. But we made it to 50 episodes, and it's also coincidental that it's been a year since we started this podcast.
Whoa!
So crazy.
50 episodes in a year.
Yeah, we skipped 2 weeks apparently.
That
sounds about right.
That was probably around Christmas time and then last week. I don't know.
That's actually pretty impressive.
You know,
Almost a podcast a week.
There is an ocean of podcasts out there, and anybody out there who has subscribed to us, thank you so much. We have a lot of fans out there that we've never met before, and we really appreciate everybody out there. And I know that they probably have a wide selection of podcasts. It's constantly growing, but I have learned that it is not easy to do this. As simple as a concept it is just to sit around and talk for 45 minutes to an hour. It is not easy to do this on a regular basis. In fact, people say how do you think of your topics? And I go, that's not the most challenging part. The most challenging part is getting everybody together in the same room to do this. That is coordinating everybody's scheduling, and that is by far the most difficult part of this whole thing.
Absolutely.
I think the most difficult part is just being in your company for an hour.
Yeah, that's probably true.
You are unbearable.
So we got 1 year anniversary, and what was your favorite episode, Cody? Tell us what your favorite fond memory was.
I enjoyed the OG episode.
The original?
Number one?
Number one was by far. I just love looking back and seeing, how far we've come.
I don't even remember what we did.
We talked about movies.
We talked about movies a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
movie versus movie.
Yeah, we did a movie versus
right.
movie.
No, in all seriousness, I think my favorite one was the one where I had my shirt off.
Oh, that was the one that we didn't air.
Yeah,
we didn't do that one.
I keep that in my private collection.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, when I look at the metrics of which episodes have had the most popularity, this should just be as obvious as can be, but my most favorite episode has been our least viewed and our least engaged with.
Which one's that?
It was the awkward and embarrassing moments one we did. It was episode 6, I believe. And it's our least viewed and our least watched. And that's my favorite episode because it's so funny and we are consistently just on in that one. I think the conversation is actually really well smooth, and I think everything just goes really, really well.
It had a good flow.
Yeah, it did have a really good flow in that one. And I was like, you know what? All right, I like that. What about you, Joel? What do you remember from the last year?
Oh, God, not much. I think I liked the first one that Matt was on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember specifically what the topic was, but I just remember it was a good one. Pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. This is also true. I know that I just told her this, but the episode that is the most viewed, not in terms of clicks, but in terms of watch time, is the one we did with Kayla. The partying and picking up girls one where we had our younger sister Kayla on. That is our most viewed by far. And I was like, well, I think that's really interesting, actually. And I think the second to that is the one we did with Jem, and then the one we had with our grandma on. So people like it when there's a more female perspective on our shows. And so when I say that I want females to be on the show, everyone's like, you guys just want clickbait. And I go, first of all, yes, that's correct. I want clickbait.
Are you saying that the episodes that my wife was in is not top 5 material?
Wow.
No. Is that what you're saying, Dylan?
Explain yourself.
I'm just trying to say. Actually, no, Joel, as a matter of fact, not on YouTube, but the most listened to one on our SoundCloud and iTunes is the first one we did with Anissa. And that is true.
I already texted her and told her she's never going to be on the show again.
Can you blame her?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was a terrible episode we did. No, but anniversaries are always cool because it's hard to believe it's already been a year that we've been doing this. We've evolved a lot. And I think it's really interesting that this it's the four of us. Josh is out this week. He moved back to LA. We're going to figure out how to get him back on the show on a more regular basis. But the four of us started with this podcast. And we did a good 20 episodes without him. So it's just so fitting that the four of us would kick off the anniversary episode. You know?
No.
Yeah.
And it's just really amazing how far we've come.
You did it, Cody.
Don't be so excited.
I'm
about
proud
it,
of you.
And yet we couldn't. Again, like I don't think anybody understands the struggles we just had to get this particular episode.
Well,
up and running.
let's be correct here. The struggles you had.
Yeah. Well, actually,
We watched you struggle.
I was tweeting about it.
Yeah. Cody was over there just going, "What an idiot."
Cody live tweeted the whole thing.
And I'm not kidding. Last week we sat down with our dad and Ray to record an episode, and no joke, the cameras and no, it wasn't the cameras. The system that we use to stream Joel no longer continues. Hangouts on air no longer continue. So we literally had to say sorry. We had to reschedule. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is this like?
You're preaching to the choir on tech issues.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you have a.
You want to see outbursts.
Yeah, just a few things.
I feel like that's almost like if you ever try to present something at work or whatever, and like you're on Skype for Business or whatever it is, WebEx, and you're trying to present something, and guaranteed something's going to go wrong.
It will
the first
explode,
2
guaranteed,
minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It always happens, and the part that makes it worse is I was just sweating. It's so hot, like it's the middle or end of August ish, and it's not even that hot today. It's just anything to like make it kind of stressful and somewhat warm temperature. I'm just a pool, just a pool of sweat. And it makes me so irritable because I'm like, I just got to be on camera here in a sec, and I'm just sweating my face off. This is just so flat.
I sweat while watching Face Off.
Yeah, Cody likes to watch Face Off.
I'll take you.
Yeah.
Take me.
I'll take you to the back.
Yeah. Well, I've been working on, of course, just doing this podcast and trying to make it grow. But the thing I've been doing in the background is we've been talking about throughout the episodes is I got a wedding coming up. It's 2 weeks from today, guys.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks from today. At the time of this recording, it's actually probably going to be about a week from the time you guys see this roundabouts.
I might not be there.
Yeah,
Dylan's
Cody
gonna be
just
sweating even more.
Yeah,
no wonder.
We're having it out in Piru, California, and for those who don't know where that's at, that's like out in the inner valley of Southern California.
It's like 3 miles from the sun.
Yeah, quite literally. It is so hot, and we're all going to be wearing suits. And my fiance Amanda is just dreading it because her makeup's probably just going to be running, and we're all just going to be perspiring.
We all know why she's dreading the wedding.
Yeah.
Let's has nothing to do with makeup.
But the stress of planning a podcast is one thing, but the stress of planning a wedding has reached its fever pitch for me. So this whole idea of like no more wedding for me is going to be the most satisfying thing in the world.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait, and she can't wait either. For the record.
No, that's what it is. A huge plateau, and then it dies off, and then it spikes. This is that spike, and then all the planning is so that you don't have to do a thing on the day.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm hoping is the case. And honestly, her and I are just waiting for it to be over at this point. Like, we're excited to be married, but we're just ready for the wedding to be over. But it's just kind of sad that that's the case, is that you're supposed to be like, this is supposed to be a fun day. Like, we planned this whole thing so it would be a fun day. But now it's just become a lot more stress than it is fun.
Yeah. I feel like that's everybody who ever got married.
Yeah, that's not a weird situation to be in.
Yeah, I don't envy Cody's beginning because Cody just recently got engaged and he's going to have to start this whole process. So I'm curious to see how you're going to tackle this, Cody.
I'm going to do it in a silo.
In a silo?
Just gonna do it by
The
yourself.
ceremony's going to be in a silo,
Oh, literally in a
Yeah.
silo. Okay.
missile silo.
Okay. Wow.
Cody, I want to know. I mean, you're giving a speech at Dylan's wedding, correct?
Yeah.
Have you written it yet?
I don't know, Joe.
Yeah, he has. He's already prepped and ready. He got this. That was like something he had on his list of things to do. Just write best man speech. Oh, I gotta do that right now.
Cody's
Yeah.
had it written since they were 12 years old.
Can you imagine if I did?
He just had to scratch out the guy's name that he thought Dylan was getting married to.
I'll replace Thomas with Amanda. Okay.
Okay, I think that'll work. So, what do you have any inkling as to how you're gonna tackle your wedding? How are you gonna plan it? Are you gonna do a big wedding? Are you gonna do a small wedding?
Small. But I feel like that's what everyone starts with. They say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'll do small," and
Right,
you just
right.
keep adding things, and eventually,
Yeah.
it's 250 grand.
I will. I'll. This is the little anecdote that me and Alexis always use. After family, that's it. Just family. Me and Alexis were numbered 99 and 100 on our guest list.
Jeez,
After just family.
yikes.
So small. Good luck.
Well,
I'll keep it small.
Dylan, you said you were trying to cut down on costs for your wedding. Did you achieve that goal, or did you go over?
Actually, yeah, we actually are under budget. But here's the asterisk with that.
And the budget was $2 million.
The budget was the budget was way more money than we had
They
or
spent
ever
one.
had at our point in our
They
life.
spent $1 million.
Second mortgage.
Huge loan.
No, so here's what we did was that everybody always has this idea of like, oh, I'm not going to spend this much. But I told Amanda and I said, like, I have two requirements for this whole thing. It's not stress us out. And we obviously failed at that. But the second one is like, this is the holy grail. We cannot go over budget. I swear I will cancel the wedding if we go over budget. I'm so strict about this.
It's a good
She was
start.
stoked to hear that.
Yeah, good start.
I was like, we need to pick a number and stick to it and not go over it. So we picked a number, and we are actually under budget. But the asterisk to the end of this is Amanda and I spent less than that number, but the wedding cost more than that because of contributions from our parents mostly. Because
Right.
when we said, they of course everyone wants to be involved and say like, what about this? What about this? You guys got to have this, right? We're like, no, it's just too much money. We don't need it. Like, we'll pay for it.
Yeah.
We'll pay for it.
Yeah.
And you go, all right, I'm not. Of course, we do the whole like, no, you don't need to do that. And just back and forth. Like, no, we insist. And then it's like, all right, so the wedding costs more than we budgeted, but we didn't pay for that, and that's gifts from other people. So
Normal.
yeah,
Fairly
$100.
average.
So, but
That reminds me, you still owe me like $2,500.
oh, that's right. It's more like $2 million. That's how much the wedding costs. Well, Joel, I need a loan.
It's a weird operation.
I'm convinced that a wedding is under three umbrellas in terms of how you're going to plan it. It's either it's going to be a small wedding where it's at the courthouse and you're just going to do little to nothing, or you're going to spend way too much money, just way too much, and just get a wedding coordinator and spend on a venue. It's just going to be way too expensive. Or you can do the third option, which is what Amanda and I did, and said, no, we're going to keep it low and have the big wedding. But in order to do that, we're going to stress ourselves out by doing a lot of research, cutting corners, and doing a lot of the work ourselves. So it's like you're going to do one of those three things. Now, maybe somebody out there can find a happy medium. But
Anissa and I did the latter. We tried to like cut down on cost by basically planning everything ourselves, and it still didn't work out. We were everything we decided we're like yeah, we could do it cheaper, but we also like really want this, and so we just went for the most expensive options possible for no reason at all, and we regretted a lot of those choices. Still paying for it.
Well, I have noticed a little bit of that with Amanda and I. It was Amanda, I think sometimes, because Amanda's just a people pleaser. She just wants everybody to be as happy as possible. I keep telling her it's like it's your day, or our day, if you will. And she hates being the center of attention because she just doesn't like to be on the spotlight, and she doesn't like any type of vanity or anything like that. And so when it comes to a wedding, it's like the complete antithesis of who she is. So this whole time she's like, we got to get this because it's going to make these people happy. And I'm just like, I don't care about that. I don't. I couldn't care less. We're giving them free food, free drinks. They don't have to be there if they don't want to, and it's supposed to be just a fun time. But you don't have to care about that. And then,
Well, that's all the people care about anyway, is the food and the drinks.
well, to her, she'd be like, no, they care about the dancing. I'd be like, well, that's the girls. The girls care about the dancing. So, but in a lot of
You
ways,
obviously don't know me, Dylan.
I'm still waiting to go to the first ever non-dance wedding. I will be so happy there.
non-dance wedding. The worst is I will take a dancing wedding, but I hate dry weddings. Dry weddings are the worst.
I went to
I've been to one.
Yeah, it is the worst.
It's a bummer.
And wait, okay, you guys are gonna cringe at this story. So I've been to one dry wedding, and at that same dry wedding, the bride actually forced all of her guests to get up and line dance.
Oh,
like
God,
like a
kill
lead
me.
like a lead line dance.
Kill me.
All of us.
Wow. What if you just got up and said, "I hope you get divorced"?
I almost did.
Dude, that sounds like the opposite of Amanda. Somebody who just doesn't care of how to make the guests happy.
Yeah.
It's just this is what I want.
Yeah.
Regardless of everybody else's desires.
Man, we were just everyone was just in the worst mood.
Why was it a dry wedding? Just for cost, or was it religious reasons?
Religious reasons.
Even like Catholics drink, like.
Yeah, they aren't Catholics.
Mormon?
I thought every wedding you've ever been to was a Catholic wedding.
Yeah, but Catholics drink, Luke.
No,
was it Mormon?
No. I don't.
Hindu?
To be honest with you, no, it's Christian, but I don't know what denomination. But they are like very devout, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Jesus turned water into wine.
Yeah,
he went to a wedding and literally turned it into wine.
I don't know what the logic is behind it, but
I mean, again, alcohol. I'm not going to defend that. Alcohol is only good, but it's obviously alcohol can lead to bad things. But like, if you're going to invite everybody over, like 90% of the people there probably want to drink.
It's a party. Like, make it a party.
Yeah.
Like, don't make people sit there and stare at each other
and get up and line dance.
And get up and line dance when more than half of them don't want to do that.
That's so stupid.
It's the worst.
And line dancing is provocative. They shouldn't even be doing that.
Were women's ankles shown?
Don't touch my shoulders.
Yeah, touching people on the hips and the shoulders that you aren't married to. Come on.
And it was like one of those things where they like came around to every table and like made sure like get up, come on, get up.
What if you have a bad hip?
Like
great crutches,
great grandmas.
I don't care, get out there.
Oh, I haven't moved like this in 70 years.
Get out of
Since
here.
70 years.
I mean, I don't mind the dancing. Like I'll get out and dance, but it's like. There's nothing more boring than line dancing.
Yeah. Listen, like I like to get out there and just like kind of dance a little bit, but I don't want to have to be in formation or like this is a choreographed like Britney Spears video.
Well, yeah, no, where you're like expected to know it magically. It's like I've never done this.
Dance,
yeah,
right?
I've never done this my whole life. I just look like an idiot.
Yeah. There was a country bar, Borderline, actually, that we gone to. Yeah, when it was open. But they had a lot of line dancing back in the day. And I'd watch all these people, and it's kind of impressive to see everybody like in sync that have no rehearsal. It's just like, wow, that's kind of a cool thing. But I feel like I can't go out there and just kind of like have fun dancing if I want to go dance because I'm going to ruin everybody else's time.
You're
like,
make it
can
look
we have like two dance floors? People that are going to be in sync and the people that are going to be Backstreet Boys?
Just having fun? Yeah.
This is how we do it.
That's the Backstreet Boys.
In sync.
They're classic.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the wedding. I think it'll be a good, great, grand old time. It's just, of course, there's a lot of moving pieces to it. And
it is what you make it.
Yeah. But Cody and I were actually debating this, I think a year or two ago. We were talking about, this is before we were engaged, saying that what
you and me were engaged.
Yeah, before Cody and I were engaged. But we were talking about whether or not it was actually reasonable to charge people to come to your wedding. Because you're like, think about it. I'm going to give you open bar all night, and I'm going to provide you dinner.
Right.
I don't think it. No.
No. Here's the thing. It's like I'm not charging people to come to my wedding, so like I'm not saying that it's something like no, you have to do it. But we were talking about like if somebody did that, could I get mad at them for doing that? I'd be like, no, I don't think I could.
Here's the thing. This is my take on that. If you did it would have to be a damn good wedding. Like, it would have to be amazing.
Best wedding you've ever been to.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Like just like the craziest filet mignon or lobster dinner, and like just the
50
craziest,
cent.
like flowing like crystal, like just the craziest thing ever. But like, it's like, man, I don't think anyone would come to that.
Yeah, I guess. Well, the reasoning we had is because it is so expensive to host a wedding, and it's supposed to be something where you go, listen, we're not here to party, even though that's what the expectations have become for weddings these days. So if I just ask for $20, that's going to be cheaper than any meal you'll get at a restaurant with free open
Right.
bar and dinner. I think that's perfectly reasonable, and that's where I go, like, listen, I totally admit that I'm not charging people to come to my wedding. It's kind of like, this is a special day, and I want to host you guys, and just, our treat. But that being said, if someone said, I want you to come share this day, you don't have to come to the reception.
I completely agree with you, Dylan. I think that it's like, I would gladly pay whatever $40 to go to basically all you can eat place with free booze for the whole night.
Yeah,
And watch like two people I know get married. Like, that's a low fare for me.
Theoretically, yeah, but like social mores as they stand now,
That's a
different.
Right, but
that's a different.
I guess our point is, like, we understand obviously, like, that's not, it's frowned upon for sure, but we're not debating like what like our social standing is as far as like Americans and like how our weddings are proceeded or whatever. But the idea of it,
just the logical
is kind of
idea,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it totally is a rational position to take. And like Joel just mentioned, if there was somebody I knew saying, you want to come to my wedding? Be like, yeah, sure. Like, all right, just so you guys want to know, if you want to come, you can come to the ceremony. That's totally free. But the reception is $20 to get in. And I'd be like, cool, yeah, $20 or $30. I'd be like, all right, that's perfectly reasonable. That's less money I'm going to spend going out with my significant other at a restaurant where I'm going to get a dinner and a drink probably after tip.
Unless you have a coupon.
Yeah, this is
IHOP.
true.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's the thing. This is what I would be thinking about the whole time.
Yeah.
Because like that, it just doesn't jive with my mind. I too am a people pleaser, and like I just want like come and have a good time. Yeah, we paid for it, we took care of it, whatever. But like in my mind, I would be thinking, these fools are making money off this thing. That's what I'd be thinking. Be like $30, like with 150 people. They're making money off this.
I think people are smarter than that these days.
I don't know.
I think if you asked, 100 people, 99 people would have been like, yeah, I understand that this isn't nearly going to cover what the wedding costs.
If anybody's ever planned a wedding, anybody who's ever planned a wedding knows how expensive weddings are. So if they charge $20 per person, you have 100 people show up. It's like that's what is that? That's $2,000. So it's like, all right, that's not going to cover even like a tenth.
That's maybe alcohol.
Yeah, that's maybe the alcohol you cover for. So but at least it helps a little bit. So again, like we said before, I think there's totally a rational agreement. Do you agree, Cody? Are you going to charge people to come to your wedding?
Yeah, I'll actually charge enough to make a profit.
See, you're the one. You're the one that I'm. $500 a person.
$200 a person.
I'm gonna make a $10,000 profit.
And you're gonna have like Taco
Dang.
Bell boxes for everyone.
Taco Bell, I'm gonna charge everyone $500.
You know what? I might do it. Taco Bell, heck yeah.
And you
I'll
better
be there.
show up.
Taco Supreme. If you make it Taco Supreme, I'll give you $700.
They have like chocolate fountains. You get like the nacho cheese fountain.
Yeah.
It's like the chip surrounding it.
Oh yeah, you just pick up a chip,
That sounds
put it
incredible.
in the fountain. Gosh, if I had 10 billion, I would totally do that.
You could probably do that for $50.
Yeah, it's
Like
probably not that expensive.
walk into any Taco Bell.
Because the fountain I'm thinking about is going to cost at least $1 billion.
made out of pure platinum.
It's all diamonds.
It's just goat cheese.
Yeah. So we're actually we're having tacos at our wedding. It's gonna be just a taco truck actually. So
Nice.
it's going to be probably really hot, and we're gonna have a bunch of tacos and drink alcohol. So
Which taco truck?
It's not. It's a privately owned business, so it's nobody we've heard of. But I haven't even heard of them. It's the owner of the the people that own the reception location, they have a separate business of a taco truck. So they just said, you can do this.
Is
I'm
it locally though? Is it Ventura County or?
I think so. I think it's in the county, but I don't even know the name of the business. It's just literally like, look, oh, there are side companies doing it. So I'm like, all right, I'll take care of that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be delicious. But I just imagine, I'm like, wait, let me do the combination here. We have really hot weather, Mexican food, bunch of alcohol and dancing.
Any bathrooms?
Yes.
No bathroom.
The bathroom line is going to be like
And a fountain of warm milk.
Yeah.
a fountain of warm milk.
You might want to offer counseling service as well.
To get over the amount of stress that our bodies are going
And
to
a
go
confession booth.
Confession booth.
What have you done, my son? I myself.
I got done pooped. Wait.
Oh, good heavens. Yeah.
I dumped in my pants.
Are you going to do a themed wedding, Cody?
I have no idea.
How much thought have you put into your wedding? So
It's gonna be Teletubbies themed.
About 6 minutes worth.
you got the ring, and that was
I'm
about
not thinking about it until after the dust settles from this wedding. So
it.
Yeah.
It does settle. So
There's a little bit of pressure as a best man.
yeah,
No, I mean like a little bit, just because like your speech and all that stuff. You gotta be present.
you got to
I've been
present,
prepping for that for years.
getting ready to
Nah.
just pull out the boxing gloves.
I have an outline.
That's all you need.
It's going to take you 3 days.
If you try to memorize it word for word, it's just not going to work out.
We've seen plenty of best man speeches. The best ones are always the ones that are like you may have notes, but if you don't read off something, it's always better.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have to remember the talking points, just
Yeah.
like the
Right.
like almost
Yeah.
like flashcards, if
I
you will.
have
Like
it segmented.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah,
Sections.
that's what I was gonna say about this. You know, type
Yeah.
of thing.
The first one is show naked photos.
And then get naked.
Of just random
And then
strangers.
show
Random people.
of random people we don't know.
Show pornography.
By projector.
This is my favorite video.
Projecting the slides on the side of a mountain, wherever
Yeah.
we're at.
The side of a mountain.
Yeah. But what's weird is that Amanda and I were talking about, because we're religious, and not to the degree like we're like fundamentally it has to be this particular way, but we were talking about how, like, at what point are you actually officially married? Like when does that happen? And we were talking about whether or not it's like is it when you say the vows? And then we literally, like, we had this long conversation about it, and it literally got down to the point where I was like, I guess we just don't even need a wedding. Like, I honestly don't know if we need one, because it like, of course, like, we have like somebody who's going to officiate the thing. It's going to be at a church, and we have the classic. It's the most traditional wedding you can think of. But that being said, I don't know if we even need all of that, because if it just literally comes down to the vows, I don't need an officiant to tell me what to say.
Well,
Right?
here's my response to
Well,
that.
I mean-
Who cares? It's whenever you say it is.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, is like, does anybody even need a wedding?
It totally is.
No. It's all man-made bull
It just
crap.
depends. Right. It depends on what your belief is. Like, if you're religious, then it's when you say your vows in front of God.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not religious, then it's like when you have the piece of paper that says you're in a contract with this other person. Like,
Right.
like,
I guess. Yeah,
and
because-
you sign your signature, then it's like official by the state.
Right.
So it's like whatever you believe in.
Yeah, so Dylan, just to poke you about this. So you're taking a more religious stance to weddings or marriages in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you also said that you don't need a wedding per se to be married, unless in your guys' heads.
Yeah.
So, do you not think it's crucial to get married, like in front of a priest or a pastor or whoever?
I don't know if it's. I mean, based off our beliefs, there's nowhere where it's written that says these are the requirements in order for you to be married. There's certain contextual hypothesis and theories and different, type of scriptural understandings of how that works. But as far as we can tell, there's no direct way of saying this is what you do in order to be married. And so, again, we had this long conversation about it, and I was just like, I think that the best arguments that we did here was the one you just mentioned, Joel, which is if it is in front of family and friends, like if you are going to gather a bunch of people and say, this is really important. I want all the people I care about most in the same room, and I'm going to commit my vows to this person. I vow to be faithful and all the classic vow stuff. You say that to everybody else in the room. And of course, if you're religious, there's a spiritual aspect. It's like, I vow to God if I do believe in that. And it's somewhere you're like, okay, I think that's as good as it's going to get. But did we need to plan like a whole thing with like the church? Did the church need to be involved in this? Like, not necessarily. I mean, at least according to my beliefs, if you're Catholic or more, strict in terms of doctrine, then it might be a little bit different. But as far as what we are, I'm like, I don't know if that was even necessary, to be honest. But no backing out now. We're not going to. Sorry, cancel that.
I mean, to your point, Dylan. So if it's going to be official not in the spiritual standpoint, but in the eyes of the government, then you need somebody ordained to be able to marry you, right?
Correct, yeah.
So somebody who can put their signature on the document that says, I'm ordained and I married these people.
Absolutely.
That's what makes it official so
that's correct.
So according to the government, you need someone there.
Yes, absolutely. That is absolutely correct.
But I don't know.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I mentioned this in one of our other episodes too, is that I'm libertarian when it comes to marriage, is that I would, if I could make it to where I could pass a law, it would be that the government can just stay out of marriage. That way we don't have to mingle into anybody else's business. You marry whoever you want. I don't care. But when it comes to like some sort of contract thing, I do agree that you need, if we are going to have that, then we need to have some sort of officiant there to move that process along.
Yeah.
And if someone said like, why don't you just get married outside of that? Why you don't even need them involved? It's like, well, believe me, I looked into it, and you will get taxed up the wazoo, and you're going to run through a lot of hoops, and you're going to get in basically legal trouble if you do that. Because there's common law.
Common
taxes.
law marriages. Yeah.
You'll actually it'll cost you more money in the long run to avoid.
Well, you don't even have to. That's not even technically a marriage, right? Like you could just live together.
Yeah.
After 10 years, you're automatically in common law.
Right, and I think
marriage,
you actually get penalized if they find out that this has been your spouse. Someone you call it a domestic partnership, if you will, but you've never officially filed it on your tax returns. They'll actually penalize you if you had rather than just wouldn't say you got married.
Yeah,
I think that varies state to state, though.
It might, yeah. In California, at least, though, that's the way it is.
Yeah, I think California is pretty strict about that, but I think like here in Washington, it's similar, but the rules are a little different.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it's different for each state.
Yeah, this is true. But yeah, I would. So it's like on the bare bones of what I believe in. It's Amanda and I would, at the very least, Amanda has always joked, but I found out it wasn't a joke. She said that she wanted to elope. She was like, let's just go get married. And I'm like our parents would kill us, first of all, which is still true. They would kill us if we did that. But now I realize, I'm like, I see her point on this.
Is that just because she doesn't like being in the limelight?
That's part of it. That is certainly, I think that's actually probably the majority of it. But I think
it's an opportunity for you guys not to, or for anybody, like to take the focus off of like the party aspect of a wedding.
Yes.
And like the glamour of it and everything. It's like, this is not really for everybody else. This is just me and her, or me and him, or whoever. And it's like, that's all we care about. So it's like, I think eloping is, it gets kind of a bad rap just because it's like, oh, you're trying to do it under wraps sort of thing. But it's like, a lot of times, like, no, we this is all we care about is like me and this person. Like, who cares? Like, we don't care if like nobody else sees it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think I have nothing to add to
that. Next subject.
I've eloped. We've eloped.
Going back now, you would elope.
That is a very good question, Cody. I don't know if I would have eloped, but I've actually been thinking about that very question a lot. Like, if I could go back, what would I have done differently in terms of planning the wedding? And if I am being very honest with myself, I don't know if I would have done much differently, just because I do like the idea of having a wedding. I mean, I really honestly only plan on doing it once, so it is kind of like, this is an event, this is a life event that I kind of want to put more effort into, other than just let's go down to the courthouse and get this over with. And it is something like, I mean, for the guys that are married here, I think marriage is something that's very special, and it's going to be great. I mean, I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was going to benefit my life or her life. And I think it's something to where if I had to do it over again, I think I would put as just much effort into it as I have this time. But that being said, I wish there was just easier ways to do this.
Yeah, I think everybody does.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that every price tag that is affiliated with a wedding is just way overpriced for what it is, what you're paying for. But I think it's also important to note, speaking of like eloping, but there are studies that have been done, numerous studies have been done that shows people who spend less on weddings, and they give a figure. I'm not sure what that figure is, but like who spend a certain amount, which is like in the lower end of what a wedding would normally cost, they actually end up like the divorce rate is lower in that group as opposed to people who spend more on weddings,
Wow.
which I find interesting.
That is very interesting, actually. Yeah. Huh? I didn't know that. So, Cody, you're going to spend a lot of money on your wedding, right?
Yeah, at least $800.
I expect there to be just this crazy themed wedding. I think it should be a poser
It's
wedding.
gonna be we're all gonna dance like this.
You're all gonna.
And no one understands that joke.
You're just gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the only ones.
I wonder what the causation of that would be, though. Like what?
It's probably too
Yeah.
much emphasis on image.
Material.
Yeah,
Maybe something like that.
it might be affiliated with people who care more about how they're perceived than
the actual relationship.
how their actual relationship.
Yeah,
Because think about it, if somebody doesn't care about how they're perceived, obviously they're not going to go with a huge wedding. They don't care what the wedding's going to be like, so they're going to spend less money because all they care about is the relationship with each other.
I completely agree, Joel, with whatever you said.
He said a good thing.
I said all the smart things.
Joel said smart things. All right, guys, I think that's it. I think that's it for the old 50th episode here. Look at that. 1 year in.
I think that was the best.
Good job, Cody. Cody did really well in this podcast.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
Things get weird really quick on this show. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for out there watching or listening to us for the last year. We really appreciate all the support and love and awesomeness, and we will keep doing this, and it'll hopefully evolve into more exciting things in the future. Right, guys?
Yeah. Oh. I'll take you again.
Take me.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on SoundCloud and iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as always. And we will see you guys soon. All right, bye.
Bye.